What up, you guys? This is your boy King Cam Blackman, and today I want to talk to you about something that I think almost everybody in the wrestling world has probably talked about. Every reviewer, almost reviewer, wrestling analyst, everybody has talked about, and we're getting really close to his somewhat return slash debut. And today I want to talk about Bray Wyatt and what in the world has happened to him in the last couple of weeks, days, like this Firefly Funhouse thing that has been going around. And this is coming from somebody who's cosplayed two versions of Bray Wyatt. Actually, three. I've cosplayed three different versions of Bray Wyatt. And the Firefly Funhouse, aka The Fiend, has been the latest one up to date. And I wanted to talk to you guys today about my take on the subject, what's going to be his first rivalry, what are his plans, what are other things holding for Bray, and a lot, and pretty much the question on everybody's mind, why is it taking so long for him to debut, anything else, etc., etc., etc. I'm going to talk about a bunch of stuff today, but I want to get started with the very first one, and that is why and what happened to Bray Wyatt. And I think everybody has went over different versions of it, but personally, it's quite simple. I'll just say it again. Bray Wyatt has been going through apparently psychiatrical help. So apparently he went crazy and was lost in some mental institution of some kind, or he got lost and needed to go to some help. Because remember, if you can remember, quite frankly, what happened to the Wyatt family when they first debuted back in 2014, they all just left. After we had the Wyatts versus the Shield, we still had the Wyatt family for a little while, and then all of a sudden, Luke Harper, everybody started getting injuries or time away from WWE. And then, Bray Wyatt came back again. We had this John Cena versus Bray Wyatt match at WrestleMania 30, his very first big match. And yes, God forbid, he lost to Cena. And, the push was destroyed and everything went down from there. Comes back again, has another rivalry, gets another injury, goes away, comes back again, same thing, lost again. And we had this continuous ongoing losing streak from Bray Wyatt. And it was not looking good for him. However, then we fast forward a couple years later. We learned that Bray Wyatt has a kid now with JoJo, and God forbid, congratulations to that. And we learned about all these things, and then all of a sudden we get these tweets saying, Bray Wyatt is getting help from this doctor of some kind. And when I first saw it, my reaction was, I don't know what this means. I wasn't quite sure what to make of it. And then I didn't pay attention to anything he said for a while until the very first promo, little slash vignette of 2019. I believe it was 2019 that came around when we first saw not Bray Wyatt, but we saw this buzzard-like puppet that comes out of this box. It's steaming. It's all mysterious and spooky and creepy. It laughs almost like symmetrically, equally like Bray Wyatt's voice. And then, cuts off to this some familiar looking quick flash that I've seen before, and I remember, and I knew instantly. I was like, yeah, that's got to be Bray Wyatt, and because there's only one person that can do that. And, that was my first starting to get excited about Bray Wyatt. Fast forward a week later, same promo re-airs earlier in the hour of Monday Night Raw, and then we got this new promo with this creepy-looking Annabelle doll with almost realistic-looking eyes, and God knows what the heck was going on. It was in a rocking chair. There was these other dolls and toys. There was a dollhouse. There was a bunny in a rocking chair. There was these other little tiny dolls. And then we finally get to next week. And then everything changes. There's this Firefly Funhouse kids television looking thing. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, oh, what happened? And then all of a sudden, out pops Bray Wyatt with this whole new look. His beard was cut. His hair's in a bun, and he has like lighter hair. And he talks about how he's all good now. And my first reaction to all this was I thought it was a complete face turn. I thought they were trying to fix Bray Wyatt, making him a face. And I knew to myself, I was like, Bray Wyatt's not meant to be a face character. Unless, Vince or any of the creative wants to go with that. So then, talks about, he learned some stuff along the way, puts these hurt heel gloves in front of his face, and it gets all spooky. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's the Bray Wyatt I know. Shows us the puppets that are apparently named Mercy the Buzzard and Abby the Witch. And at the time, after that all happened, then he goes to cutting himself up, a cardboard cutout of his old gimmick, cuts it up in half, then says, I'll always light the way. All you got to do is let me in. And, has that same psychotic smile and laugh. Says, I'll see you next week. That's that. Fast forward to this one promo 3 weeks later. We get another puppet called Rambling Rabbit. We get this rabbit-like puppet that looks really psychotically freaky. And then fast forward to another week after that. Then comes the bigger shocker, which is the reveal of Bray Wyatt's new character. Well, new gimmick. Bray Wyatt, says to the world, I've learned how to tame it. I've learned how to control my anger or my insanity or whatever the heck he's talking about. Turns around, all the puppets get all scared, and then, the same flashes, the Wyatt flashes just go around, and then the next thing lights come back on, and it's almost like a horror movie, which I was madly impressed with. Bray Wyatt comes out, hair down, jacket, Joker-like red and black pants. Pretty much the same outfit you saw me in at Ace in 2019. Completely changed with this super good looking mask, which I honestly want to see if he'll wrestle in the ring with or not. But yeah, then same thing. Just turns around and says, twinkle, twinkle, little star. Then says those two infamous words, yowie wowie. Which, honest to God, if that's not a trend by now, there's something wrong with the world of wrestling and its culture for memes and anything like that. So we get that promo, go past that, calls him the Fiend in another promo about a couple weeks later. Before that, we got this little small vignette, which wasn't even a Firefly Funhouse episode. It was just some little promo / intro, I like to call it, introducing the characters and all that other stuff. Next promo, he tells us about what the Fiend is and what his purpose is in the Funhouse. Then later after that, it goes right back. It pretty much just goes right back to normal Firefly Funhouse. So we get two more puppets. We get this Huskus the pig-looking puppet, which is supposed to apparently represent Bray Wyatt's past self. And we also have this Vince puppet, which also represented another part of Bray's life. All stuff that's probably been repeated before, but this is just my take on it. He says, you better get your act together or you're. And he's probably going to say fired. And Bray stops him, says, yowie wowie, boss. We can get our act together, referring to himself and Huskus. Also, I got to say, I do love the Wyatt's Gym. I do love Wyatt's Gym. The Wyatt's Gym, I don't know the shirt. The the shirt that Bray Wyatt wears called Wyatt's Gym. That thing's hilarious. I just love that so much. Finally, and then we finally fast forward. We get to this promo, pretty much the latest promo I saw from him before his debut, before his debut / return. And Bray Wyatt talks about how people lie to you all the time. Dinosaurs aren't real. People don't travel around the world, or saying the world is round, all this other crap. And then he says, people can be trusted here in the Funhouse. That's why he built the place for everybody. It's why. And then all the puppets come out and then he says, want you all to join us here where the fun never has to end. They all do this little join us little skit. And then, God forbid, Bray Wyatt says, fear's power. People reap what they sow. All this other stuff. I just don't know what he's going through. And then cuts, does a little skit with a radio, different versions of this Muscle Man dance that was in another promo before this one a while back. Hence the Husky the Pig thing and the Muscle Man dance. Different variations like hip hop, smooth jazz, R&B. And then, goes to the Clown Wyatt or the theme. The Fiend. And then we get to him just going ballistically insane. And then he says, let me in. And he just vanishes. So, with all that being said, I want to now talk quickly about what's going to happen in the span of the next either week or it could be this Monday, upcoming Monday on Monday Night Raw. as many of us saw this week, and even SmackDown Live, we've seen the Firefly Funhouse puppets secretly roaming around backstage areas, behind certain superstars, even behind champions. And, it made me really speculate, and also got me really excited, because when I first saw the Firefly Funhouse vignettes, I thought personally they were just going to be used for vignettes and not for actual, promos or backstage skits or anything like that. We thought they were just going to be puppets that were just going to be in vignettes, and we would probably never see them again when Bray Wyatt made his return as The Fiend. It would just be Bray Wyatt and not the puppets at any sort, no reference to them, whatever. But this is a good thing. When people saw this about a week ago, or should I say this week, people were wondering, they were like, oh, this sucks. Bray Wyatt didn't make his television debut. All we got is his dumb puppets. And, some people were like mad about that. They were complaining. Meanwhile, I said, this is, it's not that exciting, but this is a good thing. And I'll explain to you why. Because many people kept thinking that Aleister Black has been cutting these promos in a dark room, saying that nobody's picking a fight with him, the door's open. And many people were also speculating, since he kept saying that Bray Wyatt's little new catchphrase, "Let me in," is a connector to Aleister Black's "The Door's Open." But learning from sources, I don't think it's going to be Aleister Black that Bray Wyatt has a first rivalry with, and I can understand why. This Firefly Funhouse thing has gotten Bray Wyatt completely over. Like, honestly, I only watch Monday Night Raw for some things, but when the Firefly Funhouse thing comes around, I immediately get hooked to it, and I'm wondering what's he gonna do next. What's the clue? So we go back to the puppets going around backstage, and literally we've seen Huskus, we've seen Rambling Rabbit. We've seen Rambling Rabbit. It's a hard name to say. We've seen Abby the Witch. She was the first one to appear. And then we've also seen Mercy the Buzzard near Kofi Kingston. Abby's been near Miz. The Planet's SmackDown Tag Team Champions, Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan, were behind Huskus. And we've also seen Rambling Rabbit appear backstage with Carmella, Sonya Deville, Mandy Rose, and R-Truth. The very interesting thing about this is, is that it kind of just adds speculation who Bray Wyatt will have his first rivalry with, or his first battle with, when he comes back. Also, you also have to remember this. Bray Wyatt is the kind of individual, and he's got the potential to be a good actor. And I think the one thing a lot of actors do is they like to surprise people, or they like to hold things on the side that they don't want the public media to know, and they hold it until the time's right. And another thing I want to bring up about it, if you also remember, coming up is going to be this date, July 8th. July 8th, 2019. Keep in mind, July 8th was the exact same day that Bray Wyatt made his television debut on Monday Night Raw. Back in 2013, when he attacked Kane, stopping his chances to go to Money in the Bank. Hence the reason we had that Ring of Fire match, aka an Inferno match, years ago. So, who Bray Wyatt's real rivalry will be when he comes back, I don't know. But I could be wrong. It could be with Aleister Black, but many people were telling me it was going to be Cesaro or Randy Orton, which I don't know if it makes any sense, but maybe it does make some sense because Aleister Black's still somewhat fresh off of NXT, hasn't really been doing anything. Meanwhile, we got Ricochet as the United States champion, which is pretty good for him. But Aleister Black right now has literally been doing nothing but sitting around, but I think they have something for him good. So just, give it hope. Give it some hope, and, we'll just see where it goes. So I think that's one thing about the puppets. Another thing is that, like I said, Bray Wyatt likes to have us surprised. And honestly, I would rather, I personally, I myself think the puppets was cool. But, however, I personally want to see where it goes. Literally, we've seen every puppet at least once. SmackDown Live, Monday Night Raw. And I want to see what's going to happen on Monday. Because you never know. This Monday, we might get The Fiend lurking around. Or signs of The Fiend. or we might not even get Signs of the Fiend. We might get something like a Firefly Funhouse poster or something that says "Let me in." Like, you know what I mean? We may not get the puppets again. We might get like something completely different. What it is, I don't know. But that's the reason why it makes me excited to learn what this is gonna go, like where it's gonna go. Because also the fact that the puppets appeared on SmackDown could mean a sign that Bray Wyatt could go to SmackDown. Could. Is it a guarantee? We don't know. But the fact that the puppets kind of went to SmackDown, it kind of stretches the sides. Because don't forget, WWE still has that little wild card rule that stars from Raw can go to SmackDown and stars from SmackDown hence can go to Raw. And Bray Wyatt could personally hop the train and jump on SmackDown, which personally could be good. Bray Wyatt's been on Monday Night Raw for a while since debut, and he went to SmackDown Live for at least a year or so, won the WWE title, which was great, but that was when Shane McMahon was in charge of SmackDown, and Bray Wyatt was in line for that small push. He was also a SmackDown Tag Team Champion. That was his first title win in WWE before the WWE Championship. So if this plays out well, Bray Wyatt could be in line for another title. Because many people are also saying when he comes back to the main roster, wherever he's going to go, he's in for a big push. But we don't know what that could mean. It could mean another Universal Championship run. It could mean a WWE Championship title run. He could be 24/7 champion and knock R-Truth off the pedestal, which I also watched a video on today on how Bray Wyatt could possibly be the new 24/7 champion. And I thought to myself, I was like, well, this could happen, but it can't happen. I don't know what could escalate here. So I think that's about it as far as Bray Wyatt coverage himself. Personally, from my standing point, I'm excited. I've followed Bray Wyatt, even though he's been on bad reputation and losing streaks after John Cena at WrestleMania 30. I've still followed Bray Wyatt because his entrance is great. The man's creative on a microphone. I mean, yeah, he wrestles in the ring pretty good, but, you know, they keep making him lose, which is a big deal to some people, but to me, it's not a big deal because, remember, he's a heel, and, you know, bad guys are great in wrestling, but bad guys do not win every time. It's just something that, you know, everyone loves a good villain, but does the villain win all the time? No. That's kind of part of how the hero-villain spectrum kind of plays out and balances out. But yeah, I'm excited for Bray Wyatt. I can't wait for him to come back to TV. I'm anxious. I'm nervous. I don't know what to expect from this man because, like I said, he holds interesting promos. Promos hold keys to mysterious things, and, you know, it's just going to be good. All I can just say to the public about it is, guys, hang tight. Does it look like it's a lot? Yes, it is. Is it going to be worth the wait? Yes, it is. Like, just sit back, relax, enjoy all the little mysterious signs, and trust me, Bray Wyatt's return to TV is going to be worth it, because when he makes his return to TV, that's when Monday Night Raw or SmackDown Live could start to get really good again, especially with his new gimmick. But with that being said, thanks guys for listening. Social media links all down below. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Twitter. Hit a subscribe if you like this little mini podcast. And I will see you guys later.